Hola, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I played my wildcard game week 8. I was also away in Spain, so hence the tan that I've got. So wildcard went like this. Pope and nets with Ward as backup, Cancelo, Trippier, Nico Williams, and then in defence at Patterson and James. Then in midfield, I went for Ward Prowse because he's two good games. Ward Prowse, my intention is to move him to Zaha next week after the Chelsea game. Martinelli, Andreas, De Bruyne, and Madison. And then Mitrovic, Haaland, and Isak. And that was my team that I had chosen. That got me 55 points last week. Unfortunately, I didn't play Madison when I probably should have played him instead of Andreas, but I still back the fact that it was probably a good decision because Leicester had Spurs and Fulham had Nottingham Forest, so still good decision. You could say you could have played him instead of Ward Prowse, but Ward Prowse's penalties, and I feel like Southampton versus Villa, it was still a good shout because Leicester had Spurs, although Leicester did manage to get goals in that game, so that does look good for Madison going forward. So I've had really long international break, so it seems, and quite a few players have been injured. So just going to go through some of the injuries that have happened. So Fulham wise, we have Mitrovic, and he was pictured with strapping around his ankle, and I don't know whether it was ice or something, but he was pictured with that. But Silva is expecting him to be available against Newcastle. And supposedly he did train today. I'm recording this on the Friday, but he will be checked ahead of the game supposedly. Other, I'm just going to list through other people that people may have interested in. I have some notes here. So Chelsea, so supposedly Marc Cucurella has a bit of an illness, so he might be not be playing. Villa will be without Digne and Cash. They both have heel and hamstring injuries respectively. Now Leeds is an interesting one. Someone who a lot of people put into their team earlier only to get injured straight away is Rodrigo. And supposedly he is now fit, strong, and ready to go. So that's someone that could come back into the fray for certain managers. United, Martial and Rashford are still slight doubts supposedly. So it's unclear whether to go for those. It might be a case of trying to wait for late team news and seeing what happens. But obviously that's a Sunday game against Man City. So or is it? Yes, it is. It's a Sunday game against Man City, so you might not just get the team news quite in time. Um, and then Liverpool wise, you have Andy Robertson that's out. So there may be some people that have him. Um, and you have, which means Simicast could be playing. So anyone that is thinking of having a short punt on a Liverpool defender, although with their fixtures, I think that's kind of ridiculous to be honest. But I mean, if you're looking Chimikas in, he's probably going to play. Diaz and Jota, they were away on international duty, and obviously they both had long flights. But supposedly, according to Klopp, he said, they're after a long flight. I didn't see them yet. I have heard they're good. Um, Darwin Nunez was missing the training, and supposedly that was a precaution, and the same for Diogo Jota. So it seems like attacking wise, Klopp has a full panel to pick from again. Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes, or however you say his name, returned with a slight injury from international duty, but the scan was good and supposedly he trained well and he's physically fine and in the squad for tomorrow, and that's a quote. Callum Wilson is also fit, and Alan St. Maximum is very close. Isaac is out, but scanning to injury doesn't look too bad, and he's back in the grass already. So if you got Isaac and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll keep him, it might be someone that if you feel like you want to keep him, he is keepable because it's only 1 week out. 1 week, 2 week, I don't really know how long he's out for, but the fact he's on the grass already would make you think that it's not going to be too long. So hopefully not too bad. And then Arsenal, Smith Rowe had an injury and he had surgery this week, which will leave him out till December. But Partey, Zinchenko, and Tierney are in the squad. Supposedly, Bruno Lage at Wolves has confirmed that Diego Costa is in the squad for Wolves' game against West Ham. Who knows whether he will start or not? That is a completely different story, but he is an interesting asset all the same at 5.5 million, and with Isaac injured, it could be a wild punt to go for Diego Costa. But I think a lot of people, if they're going the cheaper route, are talking of going for Solanke, who with the fixtures, I suppose it makes sense. Although, who would have thought at the start of the season you would have 90% of managers saying, oh, let's get Solanke. But yeah, that's what seems to be happening. That a lot of people are going for Solanke, and I can understand it with the fixtures that they have coming up. Everton wise, and one that affects me is Nathan Patterson is out. He will be out for 4 to 5 weeks with an ankle injury he picked up in Scotland duty. Nathan Coleman is likely the guy to come in there. And then Pickford is fit and available and will probably come in for Begovic. And Calvert-Lewin supposedly is touch and go. So again, if you're replacing Isaac and you're thinking, oh, Calvert-Lewin, he is a bit of a punt because you don't know whether he's going to start or not. And I would say once Calvert-Lewin comes in, his minutes will be highly managed. Because I mean, he's important to that Everton side. And I think they will probably fear him getting injured straight away again. Spurs wise, they've stated that they're going to wait on news on Kulusevski, and they're going to check some things because they have some physical problems supposedly, and they're going to check Kulusevski and Lloris tomorrow. So that really gives us nothing from Conte. So who knows what way those guys are. Kulusevski could be out, but that might then bring into play Richarlison and Son a little bit more if Kulusevski is out, because obviously they will need to take more prominent roles in the attack force. So what are my thoughts? My thoughts going in, I suppose if we move across to transfers, is I could roll the transfer. I mean, it looks like Isaac is going to come in. I want to do next week. My plan is to go Ward-Prowse to Zaha. So that plan hasn't changed. And that still leaves me with 1 million in the bank. So it means that I could go Isaac to Tony, which is obviously quite a, important one. But my thinking is, does that leave me enough in the bank to go back to Salah? And yes, it does, but I can't afford any price rise in Salah at all, or price fall in De Bruyne. But I don't reckon we will see that, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be doing the same thing, and it might actually make me do it the week earlier. It might actually make me do it the week when Liverpool play Man City. So I would have Haaland and Salah for the City Liverpool game, just to get in ahead of the curve, because I think a lot of people will be trying to go for Salah on the week when the fixture changes from Man City to West Ham, particularly with Man City having no game in the week after. I'm thinking of maybe doing that a week early to avoid price rises, but we shall see. But that would mean I only have 4.1 million for Patterson. But to be honest, I think it's okay to leave him there. He was only going to be a bench option anyway. If I look at defenders at under 4.4 million, not with SA, I mean, it's very difficult to pick up someone at 4.1 million. I'm just having a look, and honestly, it might just be worthwhile trying to see if there's anyone at 3.9 million and keeping the extra money, and that might be something that there's a couple 3.9 million defenders, so it is possible to pick up someone for 3.9 and let them kind of rot on the bench because they aren't going to play for extra money. But realistically, in my view, I would prefer to try and get that up to someone who is playing, and in my view, I would kind of like it to be in around the 4.5 million point, which would bring the likes of Fofana into play, would bring the likes of Ben White into play whenever Arsenal fixtures come along good. I think he's now up to 4.5, yes. So it would bring White into play at 4.5. And it also brings is it Anderson who I'm thinking of? I think it is Anderson at Palace in the play, which right now looks pretty good considering their fixtures. So those are my thoughts. Right now I'm thinking of just sticking and leaving myself with 2 transfers next week. The other thought I have is that I do like the thought of Tony against Bournemouth, so I might make the Isak change this week. And then obviously I already have planned to do the Zaha Ward price change next week. So those are my thoughts at the minute. I'm thinking Isak to Tony for the Bournemouth game because, I mean, next 5 fixtures, Bournemouth, I mean, Newcastle isn't easy, but he can score. Brighton and Hove Albion, again, not easy, he can score. Chelsea, I mean, they're under a new regime and they have been making goals, so you don't know whether they'll have captured the system by 5 or 6 weeks yet. And then Villa, they aren't the easiest games, but at the same time, they aren't Liverpool, City, they aren't the big, really tough teams. So Tony is someone that does really tempt me, because however good Bournemouth's fixtures is, I still feel like sometimes picking quality players is going to be better than going on the fixtures. Sometimes the fixtures will do it, but the likes of Martinelli, cost per million against points, he has been absolute gold, and that's why he's been in nearly every team I've seen. So that's my thoughts. I'm thinking of going Isak to Tony. Next week will be Ward Prowse to Zaha. Patterson, unfortunately, will probably just have to sit on the bench. But I mean, I think I have cover there anyway. So I'm not really too worried. With Nico Williams' next 3 fixtures being pretty good, I'm not too worried because I can always play him if required. But yeah, I'm not too worried. Andreas's fixtures are quite good as well, so not too worried if I have to play either of those to see me through. That's not an issue. But those are my current thoughts. So there we go. I'll leave it there, and Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you got some good insights, and all the best for Game Week 9 in FPL. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and hope you're enjoying the content and you're getting good information from it. Anything that you want to see, don't be afraid to put it in the comments, and don't be afraid to put your thoughts in the comments below as well. Thanks guys. Peace.